All right, welcome into the Midwest Days of Thunder Cup Series from Atlanta Motor Speedway. This is Championship Night, Final Four drivers. And Bryce, we got the Final Four battling for the championship here tonight. It's going to be a heck of a race, much like what we saw last week at Talladega, or at Kentucky rather. Not Talladega. Talladega was 4 weeks ago. Kentucky was last week. We got Atlanta tonight.
Yes. Yeah.
And, I mean, and you look at the four drivers battling for the championship. You got Brian Kozad, who locked himself in by winning at Talladega. And then you got Colin Forster, who won at Bristol. And then last week, Austin Bloom, Adam Alshire finished locking themselves in. And we've got quite a bit. I mean, you look at the points gap, looking at the standings from last week's race. After last week's race, Adam Alshire was the last one locked in with 130 points. Joe Neidick, 128 points. AJ Green, 123. And John Neidick, 120. So it was a very tight battle all the way down to the wire to get into the championship race here tonight.
Correct. And I was not here for last week's race, but I was here for the Bristol one. And from what I understand, last week's race I was really exciting too. So this should be a good one.
Yeah, and I mean, so a few things, right? So we've got 80 laps to decide the championship. But I mean, you're going to have to break this down into halves, right? For the pit stops, you're going to want to break it down into right around lap 40 to 45 pitting. And if you can stretch it out to 50, stretch it to 50. That's just going to help you in that second portion of the race. And you get into that second portion, whoever has the freshest tires is really going to be able to get a jump on things for that second half of the race, and really make these other championship drivers pay. So basically, what I'm seeing here, Bryce, is whoever can last the longest in this first portion of the race before they pit has the highest chance of winning the championship here tonight.
Right, and it also comes down to who's going to pit at the right moment and who's going to come out, in front in the pits, if there's a caution or whatever. So that all affects everything.
Yeah, and so Atlanta isn't, it's not terrible on tires, but it's not great on tires either. You do have a little bit of tire wear that isn't terrible, but it's not great. Like I said, you can go about 45 to 50 laps on a tank of fuel, and whenever you get there, your tires are pretty much done for. So it's just a matter of saving your equipment from the first portion of the race.
Correct, yes. And so with the 80 laps that we're having, I'm expecting a lot of passing stuff towards the end of the race, more so I believe than the middle of the race, although I guess anything's possible. I mean, I've, seen way more unexpected things before, so who knows?
Yeah, and the other portion that we haven't talked about yet is cautions. You know, do cautions come in and play a factor?
Right, yes. That is true. I think it does.
So, all right, we got about a minute and 30 seconds left in practice here. We look at the fastest lap, and it's held by Austin Bloom with a 29.337. So, Bloom having a very good, putting a very good lap time down here in practice, currently sitting in that P1 position.
Right.
As we look at Michael Pimper and the closest car to him is Travis Eccles, and they're separated by just 26 one-thousandths of a second. I think our math is a little bit off here, but according to the data, they're separated by 26 one-thousandths of a second. Chris Buds, Pete Van Sprundle, they're separated by
Right.
So with that, we should have. Well, we're getting ready to end practice here. And,
All right, and we're soon qualifying.
yeah, and then we'll get started in qualifying, and then once we get done with qualifying, we'll have 80 laps to decide our championship here tonight. We get set here for qualifying, and so anyways, we got the 4 drivers: Adam Alshire, AJ Green, Austin Bloom, or not AJ Green. AJ Green is not in the championship here.
Right, so qualifying's going on right now.
Yeah. Colin Forster, Austin Bloom, Brian Kozad, and Adam Alshire battling for that championship. So it's a matter of who can who can make the huge difference on their strategy, and that's going to play the huge factor is the strategy. I know we've talked about it, and we're going to continue to talk about strategy, and it's just it's all about, when you come into pit, when you decide to stay out. It's not a super long race, so if you can somehow manage to get it to where you are able to, stay out longer than everybody else. And I've seen it to where people have stayed out for 50 to 60 laps around Atlanta, around Texas, and Charlotte. And those 3 tracks are very similar. With different bankings, obviously, you're going to have a different banking between the tracks. But if you throw them on top of one another, it's a very similar layout. So it's not going to be hard to believe that some of these drivers can make it 60 laps. Um, it's just it's a matter of saving, and
Correct.
that's gonna play the huge factor for it. So right now you got Colin Forster sitting out front, and just waiting for qualifying to end here, and then we're going to get set to go for 80 laps around Atlanta. So we go and we look at let's go and look at some information about Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Right, so it's 4 turns, length 1.54 miles. It's the track length.
Yeah, and ironically, it's not technically in Atlanta. It is in it's in Hampton, Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is 20 miles south of Atlanta. So, I mean, it's technically a part of a suburb of Atlanta, but 20 miles outside of, to the south of Atlanta. And starting next year, they're going to hold 2 cup races again. So I know a lot of the guys from a lot of the drivers are excited about going back to Atlanta for the second race of the season, like they did back in the early 2000s.
So it looks like one more car is just left for qualifying. Is that right? Or is there 2?
Travis Eccles, Taver Mowry have not qualified yet.
Okay.
Or they've not put a lap time in. Robert Ramsey, I believe he is not a driver.
Okay.
Anyways, back to Atlanta Motor Speedway, right? It was built back in 1960. Or it was built in 1958, opened in 1960. It's got 24 degrees of banking in the corners and 5 degrees on the straightaway. So, if we look at our grid here, you're going to see Colin Forster, our pole sitter, Austin Bloom in second. AJ Green in third, Brian Kozad fourth, Doug Erickson will start in that 5th position, Adam Alshire 6th, Michael Pimper in 7th, Phil Stannard in 8th. Then you're going to have Chris Budd in 9th, Corey Wakefield 10th, Del Duke 11th, Pete Vance Brundle in 12th, Logan Redemeyer in that 13th position. Travis Eccles should start 14th, as Ramsey and myself should not be in there. And Taver Mowry will start at the tail of the field here. Yes, he does. Mowry. And as we get set to go racing here, we do need to thank the sponsor, Sans Racing Fabrication, Simnut Racing Sims, and Butt Kicker. They do an excellent job of helping put the league on each and every week. And just waiting a few more moments until we begin our pace laps here. So, before we get going, Bryce, who do you think's going to come out with the championship here tonight?
I'm gonna say Austin Bloom, maybe.
You're going to go with Austin Bloom. All right. I'm going to go with Colin Forster. Forster has looked good all season. I'm going to go with him. I'm not seeing... we'll have to look and see where Brian Kozad started. As he is starting in the 4th position. So you got 3 of the 4 starters in the top 4.
Right, yep.
All 4 of them inside that top 6.
That should be quite an interesting start to this race.
Yeah, it's really going to play a huge factor. That's something else. You want to get a great qualifying position, and all 4 of our championship drivers got great qualifying positions starting inside that top 6.
All right, so pace car is in. Green flag is out. And let's see who takes the lead away. Looks like it's going to be, well, they're still side by side, but looks like
Colin Forster's got the advantage.
Yep. Slightly, though.
And that's something about the high side here at Atlanta. It's just as strong as that bottom side. So if you see a driver get in there with a good run on that high side into the corner, and he keeps that momentum up on that high side, he can really make that inside line pay here. As we're working lap 2 of 80. And we're seeing it now as the 3 of Austin Bloom is making the outside lane work for him here, and he's going to jump up into the lead.
Right, so Austin Bloom now takes over the lead, and second will be Colin Forrester. Third will be Brian. 7th, AJ Green. Or I mean, third AJ Green. Sorry, I was looking at the 07 there. 4th will be Doug Erickson.
And Erickson's fallen back. He's back behind, back in that 6th position now, behind Alshire and AJ Green. And AJ Green, he came very close to locking himself into the playoffs or the championship race here tonight.
Right.
You look back.
It looks like Austin Bloom has a strong car too.
Oh, the 16. That is Corey Wakefield has an issue off of 4, and he's going to lose quite a few spots. And yeah, and we saw this last week, right at Kentucky. We had certain drivers had strong cars early in the race, and then later in the race, the car wasn't there. So that's a huge thing that could really play into a factor here, as these guys are really pushing the pace here early.
Right, so it's 2 cars out front, the Austin Bloom and Colin Forrester, and then a couple car lengths back is Adam Alshire and AJ Green. Pretty much all single file.
Yeah, the first car to duck out of that single file line is the 46 of Doug Erickson. And then you look behind him, you got the 15 of Michael Pimper. I take that back, as Brian Kozad is behind that 46. I did not see him. His car blended in way too well. So Kozad back there in that 6th position. And you're going to have Michael Pimper back in 7th. So, and what we'll see is we'll see a lot of these guys who aren't in the playoffs or aren't in the championship race, so to speak, here tonight, will really push for a good finish to end this season before the next season starts.
Right. So, just completed almost 10 laps. 10 laps will be on the board next time by.
Yeah, and looking at Tabor Mowry back here in the 22, it looks like he is running deep in the field, as it looks like we've had Redemeyer and Wakefield pull off of the track. Del Duke in pit road.
Yeah, he's in pit road for something. I don't know what.
Yeah, as up front, Forster battling to get back around the 3.
Right, so Colin Forrester is on the inside of the 3 of Austin Bloom. Behind him is the 11 of Adam Alshire. Let's focus on that battle, see what happens here. Looks like Colin Forrester is going to take over the first position. Adam Alshire might have it take over second as well. Looks like he does. And then third spot will be Austin Bloom.
Yeah, and you know, we saw it last week with Bloom winning the race last week and really didn't have a strong car in the first half of the race. That second half, his car really came to life, and now we're seeing the opposite here. The first half so far, he's got a very lively car. He's up front battling for the race lead lap after lap.
Right, yes. So Colin Forrester came up there quick too, because he was like, what, in second, third just a bit ago? Something like that? If I remember right.
Yeah. Right, and Forrester has battled back to take over the top spot here, and he's stretching that lead out. As we look, the previous lap, Forrester ran a 31.061. Alshire ran a 31. Now Bloom up in the second, as Bloom ran a 31.220. And we'll watch this time to see what they run. Forrester runs a 31.111. Bloom a 31.284. So we're starting to see Colin Forster pull away a little bit more each lap.
Right, his last lap time was 31.1.
Yeah, he ran a 31.15 this last time by on lap number 15, compared to Austin Bloom's 31.27. So he's about 0.12 of a second quicker, and he's got a 1.09 second gap back to our second place driver of Austin Bloom. Looking a little bit further back, looking for a battle. Travis Eccles and Phil Stannard. This is for 10th position back there. Eccles in the 72, looking to the inside of the 4 of Stannard.
So Eccles is right behind. So I can figure out who that is.
Phil Stannard.
Phil Stannard, there we go, yeah. He's going to go on the inside.
Yeah, he's going to look to that inside here. See if he can get this pass completed.
Doesn't look like he'll be able to right now, at least. All right, so Colin Forrester is still out front by a long gap, actually. Behind him, Austin Bloom. Third, AJ Green. Fourth, Brian Kozad, and fifth will be Doug Erickson for the top 5.
Brian Kozad, he's starting to come on strong here. He was running back in that 6th position. He's gotten around the 15 of Michael Pimper, the 46 of Doug Erickson, the 07 of AJ Green. Now he's on the back bumper of the 3 of Austin Bloom.
Correct. So he's catching up really quickly too. Right there, behind Austin Bloom. Looking low there for a second. Looks like Austin Bloom is doing a little bit of slight blocking too. You're gonna try it again and go to the bottom.
Kozad's not able to get around Austin Bloom here. We go and search here. Taver Mowry closing in on the 4 of Phil Stanart. Mowry using that high line. And he's going to lose a little bit of time there in 3 and 4, but he's going to make it up on the straightaway as he keeps that momentum from the high side. But Stanart able to fight back on that bottom side.
Right, so he was able to fight back and gain a little bit extra, maybe a few seconds on him.
Yeah,
looks like he's still trying that outside lane though to see if he can get by him.
As it looks like Logan Redemeyer, Del Duke, and Corey Wakefield had issues, and it looks like all 3 of them have retired from the session. So we have 11 cars on the lead lap, 12 cars on the lead lap, rather. Colin Forrester, your race leader, out front by almost 2 full seconds over Austin Bloom. 1.699 that last lap.
So there's AJ Green in the 07.
Yeah, he's closing back in on the 87 of Brian Kozad.
In front of Brian Kozad is Austin Bloom. He's in second.
As we look here, on board here, we go on board with the 87 of Brian Kozad. You can see just how close he is to that 3 of Austin Bloom. Using our roof cam here. And Kozad does a nice job of closing in on the entry and sticking with him on the exit, as that gap is less than 0.2 of a second, and it gets very close there. Going
Very
into 3 and
close.
4.
Yes. Very close. Let's see if he gains anything in this corner here. Nope, not as close as the last time, but... Oh, here we go. Maybe he's got it now.
Yeah, he's got a huge
Definitely
run.
getting closer now. He's on the inside. He's on the inside now.
Kozad takes over that second spot from Austin Bloom.
Yep, so he is now in second place, Austin Bloom. Might be looking to fight back now.
But at the same time, we've been green for 29, working on lap number 30 here.
I know, I was just going to say that. We've been green for 30 laps now.
How you really have to stop and think. Was Kozad playing it smart and saving tires in the early portion of this run? And now we're seeing that saving come to fruition here as he's pulling away from Austin Bloom here. He's got a almost 2.5 tenths over Bloom.
Yeah, it makes me wonder too. I think he was saving tires because obviously he's going much faster now. Going by a lot of those cars there.
So we compare their last laps. He's almost a he's about almost 0.2 of a second faster a lap, except for this last lap as Kozad was slower than Bloom.
Right, and in sixth position you got Adam Alshire, who's trying to catch up to Doug Erickson.
He got around Doug Erickson. He's trying to catch up to the 15 of Michael Pimper, who's in that 5th position.
Oh, really? Because on my end, it's flipped around.
Nope.
Huh.
First is Forster, second Kozad, Bloom third, AJ Green fourth, Michael Pimper in 5th, Adam Alshire in 6th. Doug Erickson will be in your 7th position. Chris Buds, and we haven't talked about Chris very much today. She's running back here in this 13 Kodak machine. It's an awesome throwback paint there that he has for the final race of the season here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. And we should start seeing these drivers duck down for pit stops here very shortly.
Yeah. Okay. So now it just updated for me that that order there. So it must be on my end. It was delayed for the order position there. But okay. So Colin Forrester is still out front, way out front now.
Yeah, he's got about he's got about a 3-second gap over our second place runner, Brian Kozad, in that 87.
Yep.
We go back to AJ Green. We're going to use our roof cam again and watch that show. That provided great coverage last time with Brian Kozad getting the run on the 3 of Austin Bloom. And AJ Green's got a similar run.
Yes, he does. So AJ Green is fourth. Behind Austin Bloom.
Yeah, he's got a great run down the back straightaway this time, and he's going to look to the inside, and he's going to take over the third spot here on lap number 37. Which actually, it might be 38, 36 for these guys. 30, no, it was 37, 38 now. Colin Forster having a tremendous run out front.
Yeah, and if this race stays green, I don't see how they're going to catch him.
Well, yeah, and that's the other thing, right? Last week we had some cautions, so the drivers that were further back, they could go in under pit cycle, make some changes to the car, tighten it up, loosen it up, make it feel more comfortable on the racetrack, and that really helps through the next run. But if you stay green the whole time, you don't have that extra time while you're under caution to make adjustments here.
Right, and the other thing I'm thinking about too is if it stays green and some of these drivers, have to pit for fuel, depending on, or whatever, depending on when they pit, they could go a lap down considering how far ahead Colin is.
Yeah, and looking at it though, the guys from 8th on back who are 12 plus seconds back of our race leader.
Yep.
They could be the ones to potentially go a lap down if it stays green. The ones that are a little bit closer, under 10 seconds, it's going to be a little bit closer to put those guys a lap down here.
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That makes perfect sense.
So, as we're hitting lap 42 now, we said right around lap 50. They're not going to be able to make it 80 laps on the same tank of fuel. So they're going to have to come in and pit for fuel. And if you're coming in to pit for fuel, you might as well get 4 fresh Goodyears. You can get back out there and really use those fresh tires to your advantage. Especially considering how we are closing in on 30 to go here.
Right. Yes. So the running order is, once again, Colin Forster in the lead. Second, Brian Kozad. Third, AJ Green. Fourth, Austin Bloom. Fifth, Michael Pimpey. Sixth, Adam Elshire. Seventh, Doug Erickson. Eighth, Chris Buds.
And Buds is under attack from the 80, Pete Vance Brundle. This is for the 8th position, and Vance Brundle has it. So move Buds down to 9th. You got Tabor Mallory rounding out the top 10. And you're going to have Phil Stanart in 11th, Travis Eccles in 12th, with Wakefield, Redemeyer, and Duke out of this race. As I was seeing that they were having some issues in the race here, so we'll have to wait and see what those issues are. And I just heard Phil Stanart slam the outside wall.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard somebody just slam that outside wall hard. And Stanart was the only car, because I was watching Travis Eccles here, and Stanart was the only car, and it looks like he does have some significant right side damage here.
Oh, yes, he does. Yeah, he's got damage on that right side of the car. Oh, he's squirrely.
Yeah, he manages just to save
it.
Yeah, a heck of a job by him to keep it straight and avoid a caution, but he will lose a lap here as Colin Forster is closing in on him. as Stanart goes ahead and ducks down pit road. I mean, it's a perfect time to make a pit stop. You have an issue, you slam that outside wall, you might as well pit and get your damage fixed, get 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel. And we are being notified that Redemeyer, Duke, Wakefield, those 3 drivers are having connectivity issues with the servers. So they
I see. Yeah.
they will, very unfortunate for those guys. I know it's not how they wanted to end their season, but you take what you get and you battle on to the next week. And unfortunately, there will not be a next week for these guys, as they are done with this season and take a break before their next season. And watching the 9 of Colin Forster.
He's just so far out.
Well, and so with our with our in-car camera, you can really see how much steering input that these drivers are putting in through these corners.
Yeah. So he's putting in a lot of steering input right there in that corner right there.
And the other thing that this does, right, is it lets you hear exactly how much throttle they put into the car, how much they're out of the throttle, and it really plays a huge factor into how just, the exact the handling, as we are working lap number 50. And I believe we should start seeing some drivers ducking down a pit road here very shortly. As the 13 of Buds is
Forrester
down.
is coming up on a lap car right now.
Buds is down pit road. Van Sprundle went down pit road. Stanart went down. We acknowledged Stanart going down pit road. And Van Sprundle, who has pitted right in front of our race leader there. Chris Buds, he's going to go a lap down. He pitted Travis Eccles. He's also on the tail end of the lead lap. And so this does 2 things for Colin Forster, Bryce. One, it allows him to be more aggressive in the last run of the race. If he's going to have 25 to 30 laps, he can really get after it and really push the pace. But if, and here he goes. He's ducking down pit road.
He's coming down pit road right now.
Yeah. Now we're going to fall back to AJ Green and see if AJ comes down pit road, and he's coming down as well. Michael Pimper stays out. The 15 of Pimper stays out, so he will take over the race to lead. Doug Erickson, looks like Erickson stays out as well.
AJ Green's going down pit road too.
Taver Mowry stays out. So Mowry is 12 seconds back of our race leader, Michael Pimper. Erickson is 3 seconds back. Travis Eccles is 22 seconds back. And Colin Forster goes a lap down. So this shakes things up a lot here. Now,
right, because Colin Forster was way out in front. Now there's a caution.
Oh, and this is not what he wanted to see, because Brian Kozad is the first car one lap down, and he is on just as fresh tires as everybody else.
Right. So this is going to be interesting.
Looking to try to find the crash here. And I'm not seeing anything.
All right, so I found it. So it was the hold on a second. Let me get a better view here. It was the 07 that spun out.
Okay, yes, I have it. So we will bring that replay up for you guys here. Looking at it here, he comes out of pit lane on fresh tires. So and that's something we didn't talk about, and he just loses it.
Yeah, I totally lost it coming out of there.
And we will be right back with a interview here. All right, and we've got Colin Forster here with us. Colin, you had a very strong car in the first half of the race, and you pushed it to lap 53 before you came into pit road. So now that you're, and especially with this caution, after you guys have just pitted, that's going to really allow you to get aggressive here in this the last 20 laps of this race here.
Yeah, I'm just kind of frustrated with myself because I missed my pit box by a little bit, and that cost me time, just enough time for Brian to get around me, and he got the lucky dog, which is going to allow him to start in front of us now.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get the wave around with the leader being behind you guys, but it's just going to make it more difficult on yourself and the other chase or the other championship drivers that are going to be starting further back to really have to battle their way through for the last 20 laps here.
Yeah, I'm just going to try to get back up there, and, well, I mean, I've had the best car all day, I would wrongfully say, so I should be able to get back up there, and we'll just see what happens.
All right, well, Colin, good luck the rest of the way, and we will look forward to seeing if you can pull out the championship here tonight.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, so there you have it. That was Colin Forster, our well, in-race reporter, if you will, and so as we get set to go back racing, it's going to be Doug Erickson, Michael Pimper, Taver Mowry, Travis Eccles, Brian Kozad, your top five. Colin Forster will be 6th, Austin Bloom 7th, Adam Alshire 8th, Pete Van Sprundle 9th, AJ Green 10th, Phil Stanart will be 11th, Chris Buds 12th, with Wakefield 13th, Redemeyer 14th, and Duke 15th, and they are out of the race. As Buds is 2 laps down, he must have had some issues under pits there.
Yeah, he must have. I almost wonder what happened.
Pace car is in.
Pace car is in. Green flags back out. And let's see who takes the lead.
It's going to be Doug Erickson. And we're going to have an issue here. We're going to have an issue right after the start. Is it going to bring out a caution? Yes, it will.
So yellow flag is out.
Yeah, and it was for the 72 of Travis Eccles. He gets loose and slams the outside wall, bounces back down through the field, and the field really does a heck of a job avoiding hitting him here. So we're going to have another caution right after we came off of one. So very unfortunate for Travis. He was running inside the top 5. But what that does now is Brian Kozad's up to 3rd. And if he's got his car anything like it was the last couple of weeks, and you see Austin Bloom, he comes in from that 6th position to go down pit road. But if Brian Kozad has his car anything like he has the last couple of weeks, I'd be on the lookout for him. He's been very strong within the last 20 laps of the race.
Correct. Yeah, he has been very strong. So, have to focus on him and see how he does once we restart here.
So all this is doing, right, Bryce? And we talked about it with Colin. It's just allowing these guys to really get aggressive with their tires and make it to where it's gonna be a really intense battle here. The last
few laps.
The last should be right around the last 15 whenever we go back to green flag racing here.
Right. Yeah, but the last few laps, I expect, maybe a lot of attempts to pass.
Well, and they
towards
may
the end there.
Yeah, and they may surprise us too, Bryce. Is they might be calm and steady for the next few laps. Wait till they get to 10 to go, and then we're going to start seeing the aggression come out. We're going to really start seeing these guys get aggressive and making moves that we wouldn't normally see them make, especially the championship 4. Forster, Kozad, Alshire, Bloom. Those drivers are the final 4. Standing after a long season here, and it's about business is about to pick up for a lot of these guys, and it's I don't know. I'm anxious with this restart, and does it bring out another caution, or do these guys settle back into a groove? We went 58 laps without a caution, 55 laps without a caution. Let me see here. I can go in here and check real quick. It looks like the flag came out on lap 54. The yellow flag came out on 54 for Travis Eccles or something. Yeah.
Yep.
So working lap 64 here. Double filed up, so we should be going back to the green flag racing this time by. So that'll put us on lap number 65. So that'll be 16 to go. 16 laps remain. In
So
this.
Doug Erickson will restart first. Second, Taver Mary. Third, Brian Kozad. Fourth, Colin Forrester. And top 5, Adam Alshire.
Yes, pace car.
Coming down pit road. Green flag's back out. And Doug Erickson gets a boost.
Yeah, Brian Kozad gave him a bit of a shove there to get out front early. He knows he's got the other championship drivers behind him. He's not wanting to stick around. He wants to get out front and get out in front of these guys and get away from them. Make them chase him. And now Bloom looking to the inside of Kozad for the second spot. It's really starting to pick up here.
Colin Forrester right there behind Adam Alshire.
Yeah, the championship 4 are running second through fifth right now.
Austin Bloom is now second. Colin Forrester trying to get to the bottom of Adam Alshire as well. Austin Bloom to the bottom.
And we're going to see
Trying to
Bloom.
take over the lead here.
Yeah, we're going to see Bloom back out front. And you look back, Kozad's car doesn't appear to be handling well. Looks like he's got an ill-handling car as Bloom sets the fastest lap of the race right there with a 29.408, 29.408 for Austin Bloom that last time by. And Kozad loses another spot to Adam Alshire as Brian Kozad. And now he's got Colin Forster on his back bumper. Watching here, these are championship drivers right here, those three. Kozad, Alshire, and Forster.
Forrester trying to get around those two cars.
Yeah, he's had the fastest car here all day. So if he can get around these guys, he can go run down the leader as we're approaching 10 to go. As Kozad is being credited with the third spot here. And now he starts to pull out in front of the 11 of Adam Alshire. But that's going to allow the 9 to get up underneath Alshire. As Taver Mowry looking to the inside of Forrester here.
So Colin Forrester and Taver there. And Adam Alshire.
Yeah, Kozad
Still battling
clears.
for position.
Yeah, Kozad clears Alshire, so Kozad pulls out in front of that group as he is in that third position. Alshire is in fourth, Forster fifth, and they fought positions there. Mowry sixth, AJ Green seventh. As we're going to have 10 to go now. 10 laps remain. 10 laps to settle it here. And I suspect we're going to start seeing the aggression come out. And if you look now, Brian Kozad's starting to pull away from Colin Forrester.
Right, so he is pulling out, like you said, and trying to catch the first and second place cars as best as he can.
They've got a second lead over him. Well, a little bit less. He's closing in. He's down within a second. And you look here, Doug Erickson not making it easy on Austin Bloom, but he's not battling Austin Bloom. He's trying to help, in my opinion, he's trying to help Austin Bloom pull away from the rest of the championship drivers, and then they can battle out for the race lead.
Right. So, Colin Forrester still trying to close in on Brian Kozad there. Doug Erickson in second.
Yeah, and Kozad lost some lost some time to Erickson and Bloom. She is now about 1.3 seconds back. So we're closing in on 5 to go here. Just 5 more laps. As the drivers have pretty well separated out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and looking at the interval between Kozad and Bloom, it's up to 1.2 seconds. Between second and third. Between Bloom and third is a 1.7 second gap. As Bloom starts to pull away from Erickson now. Forster trying to close in. He's got the 07 of AJ Green pushing him. Those guys are trying to get up there. And they're doing a great job. As well
as they can, anyway.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of closing in. And we're coming to 5 to go this time by. 5 more laps.
So 5 more laps to go. You have to wonder, can Colin Forrester catch Brian Kozad, get around him, and maybe potentially... Oh, no! Oh, sliding! Oh!
AJ Green
Green's a little loose there.
We're going to have an issue back there. Phil Stanart gets turned.
Yeah, he got turned there and spun around.
And he's trying to keep it going. He's trying to keep...
Looks like there's no yellow right now either. Looks like...
Yeah, there is not a yellow as he's kept it rolling. Keep the race going here. Bloom, still your race leader out front with 4 to go. Erickson second, Kozad in third, Forster fourth, AJ Green fifth, Pete Van Sprundle sixth, Adam Alshire seventh, Travis Eccles eighth, Tabor Mallory ninth, Phil Stanart in 10th. 11th is Michael Pimpeyer. 12th is Chris Buds with Corey Wakefield, Logan Redemeyer, and Del Duke out of this race running, sitting in the 13th, 14th, and 15th positions, respectively. We look back as Forster is within 0.3 of a second of Brian Kozad, but with 3 laps to go, you have to think it's too little too late, as we're going to have 2 laps to go now. It's just 2 laps remaining. You have to think it's too little too late for Colin Forster to get up there to win this race and win this championship.
Right, yeah, I would think so. It looks like the battle might come, or might be between Austin Bloom and Doug Erickson. That is if Doug Erickson can actually get even close to Austin Bloom to pass him, but we'll figure out what happens here.
Yeah, it's Austin Bloom running the final lap off of turns 2 there. Into 3 and 4 for the final time here, Austin Bloom. Is gonna come to the checker flag, and Austin Bloom.
Flag, and he's gonna win. Whoa, there's a spin into the wall. Oh, collects.
Now we have
Doug Erickson maybe a little bit. I'm not quite sure. It looked like a little bit on my end.
Yeah, well, see, and here's the thing is we'll have to stop and we'll have to see, does that play a factor?
Oh, and there's a flip, too. The 18's upside down.
Yeah, we'll see, and here's where I'm at, right? Is we'll have to stop and see if that plays a factor. If there's a penalty handed out for that contact after the race.
Right. So Austin Bloom doing his victory celebration.
So as we give you the official finishing order here, or the unofficial finishing order rather, it's gonna be Austin Bloom, your race winner and championship winner, Doug Erickson second, Brian Kozad third, AJ Green fourth, Adam Alshire in the fifth position. You're gonna have Travis Eccles in sixth, Pete Van Sprundle in seventh, Tabor Mallory eighth, Colin Forster fell back to ninth there, Phil Stannard in 10th, Michael Pimper in 11th, Chris Budds 12th, Corey Wakefield 13th, Logan Redemeyer 14th, Dale Duke in that 15th and final position here. As we get set here for our post-race interviews, we will get Brian Kozad in here first, so we will be right back with post-race interview. All right, and we have our third place finisher, Brian Kozad. And Brian, you look like you were setting yourself up to really have more of a shot than what you had there to win the championship. I mean, you had a great run here today, and you put yourself in a great position to really try to steal away that championship here.
Yeah, sadly third place wasn't good enough today. We had a nice long run. We came down pit road, had a really good stop. I think everybody else overshot their box a little bit. The leader, Colin, he had a pit, and I was just racing him. And sadly, as soon as I passed him on track, and I was going to have a nice lead to the end, his teammate happens to spin out. Not saying anything happened, but it's just weird how somebody gets spin off pit road as soon as our friends get passed for a championship. But it's whatever. It's a league. Love everybody here. Glad to finish second in the championship. Better than I thought I would have done a month ago. Didn't even think I was going to be in the playoffs. So
yeah, and you really you could really see your car come to life after about 30 laps, and it's unfortunate that we didn't have a 30 lap run there at the end with the late race cautions coming out. That really played a huge factor into how things really played out in the last little run that we had there. And you did a great job of putting yourself into position to get the lucky dog here late in the race to get ahead of Colin and the other drivers.
yeah, I thought we was all going to be stuck a lap down. Luckily, I had lucky dog. I was hoping somebody's going to stay out and just keep them pinned, but nobody did. I thought I was going to have an easy win, but I mean, it's always next season. I was only here for about 3/4 this season, so I'm excited for next season. I'll be able to point my way in and not make a big dramatic show for everybody. But yeah, I wish Doug at the end was actually racing Bloom a little bit harder than he was. 'Cause I feel like if they was racing, it gave me more time to get up there, and Bloom would have been using his stuff. But Doug fell in line, second place. Can't be mad. Second place, great finish. He won last time here at Atlanta, so just that's just racing.
All right, well, Brian, we'll let you thank your sponsors and get on out of here.
Everybody does sponsors this league. They're on screen somewhere, just somewhere on screen. And thank you, Tabor, for hosting this league, for letting me join in. I was supposed to be in the ARCA, but then they decided to promote me. I'm glad that happened because I wouldn't be able to be here in front of you fine folks, finishing second to the Austin Bloom. Great racer, never done anything bad to me on track. If I'd finish second to anybody, it'd be him. Clean racer. But yeah, I guess we'll see you guys next season.
All right. We got our second place finisher here, Doug Erickson. And Doug, you played the strategy here tonight and put yourself in a position to battle for the race win here and really play spoiler and make those guys battling for the championship have to fight each other hard.
Yeah, man. I did this last time I won at Atlanta. I just kind of waited and hoped there would be a caution to come out after everybody pit on, green flag pit stops. And it worked out again. And then I beat Michael off of pit road to get back into first. And I thought, okay, I got a good chance here. But Austin's car was so fast, and he managed to take care of the tires better. So I couldn't keep up with him. So I mean, he's the champ for a reason now.
Yeah, and we've seen you all season fight hard to really get every position, and there was nothing nothing unusual here tonight with you fighting hard to get up inside the top three. Once again, to end the season on a great finish here.
Yeah, thanks, man. I really try hard to get up there and stay, with these top guys because they are fast. And I didn't want to push it too hard with Austin because I would have felt so bad if I would have wrecked him or something like that. So I was trying my hardest because I still wanted to win, but he just was a faster car today.
All right, well, Doug, we'll let you take your sponsors, get out of here, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
Cool. I'd just like to thank everybody in the league, Tabor for putting this on, Lance, Hill Motorsports, for letting me on the team. It was a lot of fun. Can't wait for next season.
All right, we got our race winner and the champion, Austin Bloom there. Oh, I forgot your name for a minute, but Austin, congratulations on winning the championship. Congratulations on the win. Coming in, you knew it was basically you had to win the race to win the championship here.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much the same situation as last week. So, I was kind of prepared for it. I was actually really, really calm before the race. I don't know. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. And, it's been a tight battle. And it's been a tight battle every week coming down to the wire. And, again, it was a tight battle. You had Brian Kozad up there and his car started coming in, but by the time his car started coming in, he was really the only driver who had a chance to challenge you for the championship, as Forster was a little bit further back. But by that time, you were already gone and way out in front, to where it was almost impossible for those guys to catch up to you.
Yeah, I really think it was Colin's championship to win, so I kind of, feel his pain for, not getting it done. I know he dominated the season, like absolutely dominated it. But yeah, Ryan was fast as well. Adam was really fast throughout the season too, so can't forget him. He had a little bad luck on that last restart, kind of took him out of it. But yeah, man, crazy season. Super happy to be the first champion of the MDOT series. Thank you to Tabor for putting it on.
All right, well, Austin, we'll let you thank your sponsors and everybody, and get on out of here and enjoy the win.
I just want to thank Butt Kicker. I can't wait. That's going to be super cool. Simnut and Sans Racing Fabrications. I appreciate them for supporting us this season, and hope to have them on for next season.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here for the Midwest Days of Thunder Cup Series. For all sponsors, Simnut Racing Sims, Sense Racing Fabrication, Butt Kicker. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you guys tune in for the next season. It's going to be another doozy. Make sure you guys, on Sunday night over here, we have the 5-Wide Racing League. Monday, we're going to have the Fix Up Sim League. Wednesday, we have the Dirty Old Bastards Racing League. And then we're off for a while. So until I see you guys next time, make sure you guys take care and protect yourselves. Do what you guys need to do to really take care of yourselves with everything opening up. And until I see you guys again, have a great weekend. Have a great week. And we'll see you back here the next time.